about them Cowboys?
Angry Cowboys Fan, are you down to ride? Angry Cowboys Fan, are you down to ride? Drop a like on the video, go ahead and subscribe.
What's going on, Cowboy Nation and Angry Cowboy fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Super giddy and excited that training camp has started so we can figure out what's going on with our Dallas Cowboys. And Cowboys Nation, I was actually going through YouTube because there's some training camp videos. There's a lot of training camp videos came out that has to do with our Dallas Cowboys, especially videos on Jerry and Steven and Mike McCarthy's press conference, as well as Dak Prescott's interview. The 3 and 4 letter networks had to sink their teeth into a juicy story that involved Jerry Jones from the press conference yesterday. And Dak Prescott, he was able to mention his contract as well. So, on today's segment of First Take, I really want to highlight Bart Scott and his responses to the questions that surrounded the press conference with Jerry Jones. I just want to take a look at 2 clips that I got for you and give my raw and uncut on those clips because I believe there's some pertinent information for Cowboys Nation. And also, I hate the way that they interpret what Jerry Jones says. And I'm going to have a breakdown video of my interpretation of Jerry Jones's press conference. So make sure you stick around the channel for that. But for right now, we are going to get into the clips that I got for you. Let's go ahead and roll the first Bart Scott clip.
First of all, we need to check in Mike McCarthy, like blink 2 times if you've been held hostage. You talk about, I'm just at the table so I don't get fined. He looked so uncomfortable because, they essentially made him a lame duck coach as well. But about time, we've always talked about how easy the Dallas Cowboys have it as far as, an atmosphere. We talk about they're not being comfortable. When football is all about being comfortable with being uncomfortable, be comfortable being uncomfortable. And the fact that now these guys have applied, Jerry Jones has applied pressure to them, I think it's a good thing because it forces Dak Prescott, yes, you're a good quarterback. Yes, you have a winning record in the regular season. But we talk about guys and immortalize guys that overcome adversity. And Dak Prescott has given you just what you expect them to give you, right? A good performance, good, not great. Too often we've watched Dak Prescott fall short between Jared Goff, playing Jimmy G, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love. All quarterbacks that we think are decent and ascending, but Dak Prescott is touted as being a better quarterback than them. So essentially, Jerry Jones is saying, listen, I'm not getting my money's worth. And listen, why would I give you $60 million, $300 million over 5 years, or even more, and all I'm going to get is maybe a playoff win? I'm not going to the NFC. I'm not going to the NFC Championship. So this is saying, okay, listen, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, you guys are tied together.
So, pretty much, you're immortalized by what you do in the playoffs. Your name is cemented by what you do in the playoffs. So, the reason why Trevor Lawrence got paid is because of what he does in the playoffs? And I mean, I know this is his first bag, and don't get it twisted. I know this is his first time at the bag, but the way you guys talk about him, the way you guys talk about Jordan Love, the way you talk about Tua Tagovailoa, Dak Prescott doesn't get none of that praise. He doesn't get that bypass to where you're just like, yes, he played good during the regular season. He deserves a bag. So let's give him the bag so they can continue to succeed throughout the regular season and hopefully make a playoff run. I believe it's the next clip, but he mentioned something about Tony Romo and he got all the facts wrong. So let's go ahead and get into the second clip that I got for you so we can go ahead and get into my raw and uncut. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Jerry Jones, the general manager, you can say whatever you want to say. He's been extremely disciplined. He's fought the urges to go for the splash type of signings. And what he's done is put together, in my opinion, still one of the best rosters in all of football. And eventually, if I pay all these guys and we don't win, what's going to happen when DeMarcus Lawrence isn't there because he's a cap casualty? Zach Martin, who had to, hold out briefly to get a new contract last year, is a cap casualty. If I can't win with arguably one of the best guards of a generation and 2 of the best pair of pass rushers, then how do I think by taking those two players away and paying these guys, I'm gonna get a better result? You know, that's the definition of insanity, to do the same thing and expect a different result. So Jerry Jones saying, listen, y'all figure it out. I'll start over from scratch, because guess what? I wasn't afraid to move on from Tony Romo, who I found as a free agent. And guess what? Dak, I found you in the third round as well. Yeah. So I've done this before. And the reason that you had that early success is because you were a cheap quarterback, and I was able to put great players around you. I had to trade for Amari Cooper, right? So life goes on with or without you. And Dak, in turn, said, you know, the same is true for you as well.
All right, Bart Scott, I got to fact check you real quick. I got to get this fact check going on. So y'all ready for my Raw and Uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Listen, we got rid of Tony Romo because Tony Romo got injured several times in a row. We got rid of Tony Romo because Dak Prescott stepped in and led this team to a 13-3 record that year. And don't get it twisted. Jerry Jones didn't want to get rid of Tony Romo. He wanted Tony Romo to come back and lead this team. It just so happened that Dak Prescott came into the game and led this team, and the team was more behind Dak Prescott continuing than they were with Tony Romo coming back. So contrary to popular beliefs, Jerry Jones still wanted Tony Romo. Jerry Jones drafted Dak Prescott as being the backup and nothing more to Tony Romo. Also, the third round? No. Dak Prescott was found in the fourth round. Dude, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about individuals coming on the set and just coming with their emotions instead of the facts. Not looking up the facts before the segment starts or before the show even starts. Just coming up there, hearing the question, and spitting off anything that they want to say that comes off the top of their dome. It doesn't work that way, especially with fans nowadays that are diving deep into these teams. Fans like me, fans like any other Cowboys content creator, are the ones that watch the content creators. They want a deeper understanding when it comes to their team and when it comes to the NFL. And the next fact check is the fact check that Jerry Jones somehow, on Dak's rookie deal, on his rookie contract, that he surrounded Dak Prescott with talent. If my memory serves me correctly, the one that he went to go get that helped this offense was Amari Cooper. Any other weapon that Dak Prescott had got developed by the Dallas Cowboys through the draft. Cedric Wilson was a draft pick. Michael Gallup was a draft pick. Jalen Tolbert was a draft pick. CeeDee Lamb was a draft pick. So miss me with that Jerry Jones stuff surrounding Dak Prescott with talent, because it hasn't happened since he's been in the league. To keep it a buck, Cowboys Nation, I truly think, and I believe this with my heart, that Jerry and Stephen Jones gets more credit than they deserve. Those guys are the ones that write the checks and that sign the checks. The ones that do the legwork, like a Will McClay. This man needs to be our GM. This man needs to be the one that goes and gets the talent for the Dallas Cowboys, because when you rely on Jerry and Stephen Jones, you either have Stephen Jones jacking Jerry up on the wall because he doesn't believe in the trade that he wants to go get or the draft that he wants to go get. And then you have Stephen Jones jumping into the UFL, jumping into the bargain bin at Walmart, trying to find players to go win us a Super Bowl. The thing is, I don't expect the entire team to be studs. I don't expect the entire team to be dogs, to be all pros. But when I look at teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, or I look at teams like the San Francisco 49ers, where they got a dog in almost every position on that field, there's more dogs than there is service guys or role players, then that's what I want the Dallas Cowboys to do. I want Jerry and Stephen Jones to really take that phrase, and Jerry said it again in the press conference, all in. I wish he would take that and use it to the interpretation that he knows the fans are thinking, that they are pulling out all the stops to surround Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Malik Hooker, and all the dogs on the squad with some serviceable role players. I don't expect great, but at the same time, I don't expect the talent to drop off a cliff when you're trying to bring talent into the Dallas Cowboys. And right now, Bart Scott said that we have one of the top rosters this year. If you can look at the Philadelphia Eagles roster and look at our roster and say that our roster is comparable to theirs, I don't know what to tell you, because it's not. Our team looks so dysfunctional because it is. And the two people that should take responsibility and accountability for the dysfunction in Dallas should be Jerry and Stephen Jones. It shouldn't be Dak Prescott taking the hit with all of this. We are going into the 2024 season questioning if we should keep our all-pro quarterback. We are going into the 2024 season questioning if we should keep our all-pro wide receiver. The only threat that we had on the field last year. At this point in the team's progression throughout the year, we should be at a point to where we feel comfortable taking that field in training camp, where your top players and your coach feels comfortable taking that field. They don't feel comfortable going out there on a lame duck situation. Mike McCarthy doesn't feel comfortable putting faith in people whom he just met for the first time this year. His future relies on rookies on the offensive line. His future relies on a question at the wide receiver 3 position. His future depends on the running back room. Man, y'all saw that smile that he gave on the press conference yesterday? I understand why he had that smile. But Cowboys Nation, this is getting ridiculous. This is getting super ridiculous, and at the point where people are fed up with it. People are fed up with the drama from Cowboys Nation, and they just wish that they would get on to football. They talk about business as usual, and I've said this in previous videos. Business as usual is not getting us past the divisional round. Business as usual is getting us knocked out by the Green Bay Packers. We need to do business differently. We need to do business to where if you don't see something working, you go do something to make that thing work. We needed linebackers last year, and Dan Quinn wanted to get a linebacker, but they put the kibosh to it. That wasn't the quarterback or the players putting the kibosh to it. It was the owners. We have an owner issue in Dallas. We have owners that are worried about the marketability and the profitability of this team and not the success of said team. We have owners that wants to get 1,000% out of people that can only give 100. And yes, there's some times where you will hit on a player from the UFL. You will hit on a player from the XFL. You will hit on an undrafted free agent. But what's the percentage of that happening? Thank goodness we were able to hit with Cavante Turpin and Brandon Aubrey. But Cowboys Nation, don't let the 3 and 4 letter networks fool you. They say that we have a great team. They say we have a top 5 team, but then when the season is over and we don't meet their expectations, they will say that our team wasn't top 5. But then whenever the narrative changes and they need them to be good, they'll say, oh, they had the best team out on the field. They were world beaters. Come on, you see the inefficiencies that this team has. You see what we're going into training camp with. You see what the Joneses has given us. You see what the Joneses have said. And that's another thing that I want to talk about is the simple fact that why do people take some of the things that Jerry says as, that's Jerry being Jerry, but then when they hear something about Dak Prescott, it is set in stone. But again, they won't listen to the full context. They won't listen to the full soundbite. They will only take a clip out of that soundbite and be like, ooh, he don't want Dak Prescott after 5 minutes of him saying, yes, I want Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is going to be the quarterback for the future. They hear that and they totally disregard that. But then they hear there's been things in life that I couldn't afford that I just had to go on. They take that little soundbite and they run with it. This is this whole segment. This is what they're talking about. This is what Bart Scott is giving his analysis on. And it's a damn shame, Cowboys Nation. It is truly a shame. But you knew that they were going to take this. You knew that they were going to take that press conference because honestly, Jerry Jones got up there and just sounded like he was saying nothing. He got up there and sounded like he was making up words. Man, I watched the Dak Attack's video and that was hilarious. And Dak Attack, that is a great segment for you to start. Whenever Jerry Jones has an interview or he has a press conference, yeah, Google it. It's crazy how many words that man came up with. But Cowboys Nation, with the start of training camp, we get to see these individuals continue to grow. We get to see Dak Prescott continue to grow. Hopefully they get the contract for CD Lamb done so he can get to training camp and they can continue to grow. And those mishaps, those miscommunications that we saw in the Green Bay Packers game, we won't have those because they will be more on a wavelength this year better than they were last year. But to keep it a buck with you, Cowboys Nation, we are going to run into this problem more often than not down the road. If Stephen Jones continues to do business as he has conducted it, in the recent years, in the recent past, we are going to be stuck right where we are with a new quarterback coming in. You can keep Dak Prescott or you can get another quarterback. We are going to be stuck in the same situation, getting to the playoffs and getting bounced in the first round because they conduct business as usual. We got to switch it up, Cowboys Nation. The Jones family in the front office has to switch it up. They got to switch their philosophy to marketing this team and branding this team. The team's brand is already huge. It's the biggest brand in sports. Now you have to worry about football, Stephen Jones. You can't just worry about the money aspect. When you win games, the money will come. I don't understand why they haven't even thought of this yet. Like, if you win the Super Bowl, the money will come, the recognition will come. The 4 and 3 letter networks will only have to praise you because you won the Super Bowl. But the thing is, they will always find something negative to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. They will always find something negative to create a story about, to create a soundbite for, or to get a click. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be something with the Dallas Cowboys. They can go out this year and run the table and win the Super Bowl, but there will always be a talking head out there that's going to talk negative about them, i.e. Bart Scott. This has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. What did you feel about what Bart Scott had to say on First Take? Do you agree that Jerry Jones wants to get rid of Dak Prescott, or do you hear Jerry Jones say that he wants to keep him? Let's have an adult conversation in the comments section. If you're digging the content and want to get it out to even more Dallas Cowboy fans, drop a like on the video and share this content with your friends who are Cowboys fans. If you are DC for life and you are as excited about training camp being here as I am, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you can be notified whenever I go live, release a video, or a podcast episode. Cowboys Nation, if we continue to conduct business the way we have conducted business, we will get the same results over and over again. If I can understand this, I know millions of others can understand it, but why can't Jerry and Steven? Guys, we have to do something different in order to get a different results. I hope you understand that business as usual is not cutting it. So go ahead and get CeeDee Lamb signed and start signing your top players so we can go into the 2024 season with confidence. This has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys Fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.